Welcome to OverSeasoned.
It's only going to take one take.
I actually kicked him out of the restaurant.
Why?
Gotta bitch to someone.
Gotta bitch to somebody, and I'm good to bitch to.
I thought you were from Spain.
Yes, I am.
Oh.
Sí soy.
Gotcha.
Soy chorizo.
Oh, no.
You've gone into Martha Stewart land.
It's good. It's just not live.
Whatever.
Okay.
It's like a scene from Cocoon. Like the sun goes down.
You don't want to get blacklisted.
You know what, Mr. President? Is this what you want?
Welcome to the OverSeasoned Holiday Gift Guide episode. Hopefully it gets to you in time to buy some gifts. We're not so sure,
Yes.
but if you can't get them for someone else, you can get them for yourself.
And guess what? It's always a great time to give gifts. Like now that OverSeasoned can record anywhere in the world, the gift to you is you can't escape us.
As long as you buy a pool, Lex. As long as you buy a pool, and I'm in the freezing, frigid Northeast.
We
your
all make
bonito
choices
t-shirt.
in life, Tony. We all
It's a
make
nice t-shirt.
choices in
I like
life.
it.
Well, this is a great way to kick it off. So, I mean, this was a gift I received. Look at this. Look at that beautiful shirt.
It's just like your tat.
It's just like my tat. It is. So, I think one great gift that you can often, it's easy to pack, and it's always easy to, well, not always, but usually easy to find a place-specific T-shirt. You know what I mean? But I guess, long story short, a cool T-shirt. So this was a gift given to me by Ronnie Sanders, and he got it in San Sebastian. And it's
Nice.
it's a shirt that says Bonito, which is the local tuna.
What does
And
it
it
mean,
also means-
bonito? Just
It
tuna?
also means handsome, like good looking.
I thought so.
So you know, it serves multiple purposes.
If
So
you don't say so yourself.
yes, so thank you, Ronnie, for this cool shirt, showing it off for the first time here on OverSeasoned on national television. I guess this is international.
Sure thing.
So
Sure is.
I guess from your perspective, Tony, you're a longtime culinarian, you know, restaurant person extraordinaire. Would you say that, you know, there's always good gifts that you, as a lover of food and of restaurants and wine and whatnot, that you would confidently always give, or that you always want?
It's a tough one because I have almost every piece of culinary equipment
Right.
I could want. Right. So I don't
Right.
really have a need for something. And usually the things I want are, for some reason, have you seen these Balamuda toasters, these Japanese toasters?
No, but you say Japanese, you put Japanese in front of any single item, and I'm intrigued. So please let me know about this stuff.
Japanese anime. It's a toaster that somehow uses steam to like make this perfectly toasted piece of whatever you're toasting, bread. So it's like
What?
fluffy. And I've been so intrigued for so many years, yet I have never pulled the goddamn trigger and got one for myself.
Are they super
So-
expensive?
They're $300, I think. So yeah,
Okay,
for a
so
toaster, it's expensive.
It's for someone you care about. It's not
Yeah.
for a flippant friend.
Yeah. I like the
Okay.
specialization of it, right? It's for one particular thing, does one thing very well. I've never really pulled it, but this year might be my year. This might be the year that I pull the trigger and
Oh,
get
so
one.
this is going to be the gift that you get yourself?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know who I would gift it to, And plus I want to try it out myself before I know that it's worth
Say that
gifting.
again? You're not what?
I don't know who I would gift it to unless you want it. Do you want a Balamuda toaster? You're a Ramblin' Rose, dude. I don't know where
I
you
know.
keep a toaster. You just put it in storage for the next 2 years.
I know, you're right. I just wanted to, but it sounds really cool. It's called a Balamuda toaster.
Balamuda toaster. Yeah, we'll flash something up on the screen for you when we find
That's
it.
cool.
Also, yeah. And I think that like knife things are obviously a good thing for cooks and stuff, but it's hard to find a knife that is something that a cook wouldn't already have in their drawer, so to speak.
Speaking
You know,
of,
So if you're going to get a knife, I would suggest something like a specialized knife, like a cleaver. It's something that you never really purchase or have, but when you need it, it's the only thing that will do the job.
okay.
You know what I mean?
But let me ask you this, Tony. Is there such a thing as too many chef's knives? Is there such a thing as too many paring knives?
Not to paring knives. Paring knives are, I think, I like the inexpensive paring knives because I'm so hard on them. I feel like I'm always like, grabbing them and doing something
Ah,
with them. I have a few, of course, the 3 for knives. I have a few nice paring knives, but the ones I grab on the regular just to do something quick are, those like ceramic ones or something like that. You buy it in a 3-pack. But I do have nice paring knives for when I'm, you know, not kind of rushing out dinner, but taking my time and doing something nice.
I got to say this. Look,
Say
so
it.
this is the perfect since this is the holiday season. I love that. I don't know who sings that, but it feels good. So
Probably Mariah Carey. Is it Mariah Carey?
definitely not. No, no. All I want for Christmas
You're
is for that
competing with
fucking
Emerita
album
on
to
that
be
one.
done. Yeah, I know. Listen, people love that album. People love Mariah, not me, and that's okay, right? We're all snowflakes. Not everything is for everyone.
You're more of a
That's
Bon Jovi fan, being from New Jersey, right?
shut.
So, do they
No,
do a Christmas album?
come
Do they have a
on,
Christmas? I'm gonna
Tony.
get you that. I'm sure they
Come
do.
on. Yeah, no. Listen. Bon Jovi is actually a cool guy, right? I've heard he's a cool guy. I've heard Springsteen is a cool
He
guy.
saved somebody from committing suicide a
That's
few weeks
yes,
ago.
in Nashville, right, or somewhere like that.
I can't remember where, but it's pretty amazing.
Listen, he's a cool dude. I got nothing against the man, but I'm not a typical Jersey person. I don't really love Springsteen's music, and I definitely don't like Bon Jovi's music.
There's two
But guess
ways you
what?
can go as a New Jerseyan. You can go that way or the other way. I don't know what the other way is, but it's not the John Bon Jovi way.
No,
You
yeah,
either dyed in the wool or
I'm
not.
yes. You've completely yeah. I'm not dyed in the wool, but what I am is appreciative of all the great friends that we have throughout the world, and this one happens to come from another friend. You just talked about knives, and back to your point, I travel too much.
You got a
Our
favorite
friend,
knife?
yes, our friend, the great man, the wise sage himself, Sir Fader of Lancelot of Poughkeepsie, decided he was going to send me a little something in the mail. Look, it could be coal. It could be a picture of Joel Embiid with a big F off in there because he's not a big fan of Joel Embiid, and lately I'm not either. He's a Sixers player, by the way, Tony. Golf. But anyway, long story short, I've got a little gift, and I figured this is the perfect time to do the little unveiling, a little unwrapping, because it came to me, and since I travel so much, I finally have it squared up, and we can do a little unveiling. Look at this, and I want to shout out. Oh, look at this. It says X 7.1, and I don't know what that means, but a little gift from Sir Jeff Fader. I'm very excited to share.
If you do have a cook in your life and they're using some janky knives that they've been bouncing into their kits, if they're a professional cook or just getting duller and duller by the season in their drawers, they can keep those. They probably
Kind of
have
like
some
their
favorites.
jokes, right?
They can keep those. They have some favorites, but if you want to get them something,
Special.
unrivaled, super special, get them a
Yeah,
set
and
of
unique
favorite
and
knives.
handmade and made by probably the funniest man in showbiz, Jeff Fader, and the highest quality in showbiz, Jeff
No
Fader.
doubt.
All right, so let's see. So I'm unwrapping. Oh, we've got some paper in here. This is New York's finest paper. Oh, and here we go. Look at this. All the details. We have got, ladies and gentlemen. See, look. First things first. Come on, use this in good health. I mean, doesn't that make you feel good?
It
It
does.
makes me feel good. I'm with you, Jeff. I mean, I definitely want to have very strong immune system response when I'm using this. So, using good health. It's carbon steel. I don't know what that means. You want to tell us a little something about that, Tony?
So carbon steel is kind of like having a pet, we like to say. It will get the steel itself will get a little bit mottled through use with like especially high acid foods. It'll stain
Okay.
the metal, all right? And it will also rust very quickly. So of course
Really?
you can wash it, you can do all that stuff, but dry it out, Dry it, make sure it's
Oh,
dry before you put it away. Don't let even a bead of water on it. You can get it off if you need to, but that kind of messes with the edge and stuff.
okay.
So it'll rust.
So this is a knife you must walk, you must dry,
Yes.
right?
Just walk
And
just
look,
dry.
it's even got a Spanish flag on it. Jeff, you're just
Every little detail.
this is already like I don't want to open it because it's so awesome. Like I just want to hold it next to my heart. I want to wrap. I just literally want to make a pendant out of this. I want everybody in the world to know that Jeff loves me, and I just want to hang it without even knowing what's on the inside. Jeff, stop making these so beautiful. Stop making this so cute. My heart hurts. How could I possibly ruin this? I guess I'll have to. Let's go.
Another thing about carbon steel is it maintains a nice, very sharp edge. So it's not like stainless steel can kind of keep an edge for longer, but carbon steel will get a sharper edge in a way that you have to maintain a little bit more because it's a touch softer.
You know, just looking at this beautiful wrap job here, right? With the colors and what. I wonder if Jeff was the go-to parent in his household when it was time to wrap the books for his kid. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I wonder because this is expert. You know, every unfold that I do, I feel
Can
a
we see
little
the
bit.
present?
Yes, we can see the present. It is. We finally got a sponsor, Tony. A sponsor that I can get behind. Do you see what it says on there?
What? Oh, he told me about this. Yes. So if you open, since it's carbon steel, it allows that's a nice paring knife. Look at that. So that's been
Nice.
so you see how the it's hard to see on the camera because it's a little blurry, but you see how the metal itself is like has a little bit of a mottled patina onto it. It's called a
Yes.
forced patina that was forced on there with a one sauce.
Yes. Yes. What else could one ever want? An
So,
A1
like I was
patina
saying,
steak knife or a
carbon
patina knife?
carbon steel will have that patina on it. So sometimes we'll force the patina on so it has a nice pattern before you start
It's
using
cool.
it. It doesn't look blotchy. Like some cooks like that. It feels like you've lived in it, right? You get like a kind of develops a personality over time with the blotchiness. But this has a forced patina, so it comes with that blotchiness already.
So
ready
what
for
you're
you.
saying is if you were to have a knife of choice specifically for a murder, I was just watching the Jean-Benet Ramsey
See where
documentary.
this one goes.
So this carbon steel is not what you'd want in a murder because it will certainly leave behind some patina from your last usage.
I'm not sure I should respond to that, but I hope you enjoy it for whatever you
I
choose to do with it.
certainly will. Jeff, thank you so much. I can smell the glory. I can smell USDA prime beef. So, Tony, I often have this question because, you know, I used to always be so jealous of you back of the house types with your fucking whole setup, right? It was like you were coming in to do surgery every time somebody was about to like break down, or not even break down, just like fillet a salmon. There's like a whole like, you know, toolkit that comes out. There's tweezers and there's fucking, you know, fillet knives. And you know, I feel like it's every culinarian back of house person's like ultimate like it's like their ultimate pride to unveil this like this beautiful kind of, you know, toolkit, right? Like the knife bag with all the stuff in it. So I ask this next question with all of the real curiosity in the world. What is the best usage of a paring knife? And let's say, let's start there. What's the best usage of a paring knife?
The best usage of a paring knife. Well, you know, taking the core off of something. I guess the way you hold a paring knife is not like a little chef's knife. You don't use it against a cutting board. You know,
Okay.
you use it up. It's in your hands doing something with either you're peeling
Okay.
or you're coring or you're, you know, was going to say tourneing, but who the hell is ever going to do that? But it's not something you use like a knife on a board, right? You use it in your hands.
Understood. So it's meant for ease of use and for
It's a small,
some wrist
delicate
play.
thing you could call it wrist play if you like. It's just not
Okay.
like using it like it's not a baby chef's knife, you know? You use
Understood.
it to, you're trimming mushrooms, you're taking the twine off of a chicken, you're boning a chicken. I bone a chicken with a paring knife a lot. I'll just use that.
Do you savage?
Of course. Of course.
Man, that is a level of refinement I'll never know.
The smaller knives are very useful for doing things like that. But again, you're not using it like against a board. You know, even though, say, take a radish, might be small, you're going to use a chef's knife to like slice a radish if you're doing it that way. But if you're taking the stem off a radish and the root end, you're going to do it in your hands with a paring knife.
Understood. Okay. Thanks
Get
for that
those
little
mosquitoes
lesson.
over there.
Well, that's another gift I think that all people need in their lives. I see this guy right here.
Especially
and he
people
is
whose
going
office
to-
is by the pool in Florida.
Well, that's what I was going to say. So look, everyone hates flies. I don't want to
Is it flies
speak
or mosquitoes you
for
got?
the fly lovers. I don't want to speak for them. Well, listen.
Is it flies
feel
or is
like
it mosquitoes?
at least flies have yes.
Is it flies or is it mosquitoes? Or both?
See, this gift, this maybe $10 Amazon electric tennis racket is one of my favorite things. It is the best way to relieve stress. And if ever there isn't a time in your day where you feel like things aren't going your way, this is a great way.
Just walk out to the pool. Just walk out to your pool.
Just walk
kill some
outside and start
mosquitoes.
killing shit. You know what I mean? I feel like that's what like little Stalin used to do when he was 9 years
Okay.
old. You know what I mean? So this for me, this is an excellent gift. Why? It's inexpensive and it really serves a purpose. So in this case, yes, as Tony mentioned, I am hanging out by the pool and it's Florida, right? And if there's one thing that Florida is really good at, it's mosquitoes. And you know what? In most cases, I'm the guy. I like to, if I see a spider in the house, I'll take that little spider and I'll bring him outside. He serves a purpose. He's killing the skeeters. He's killing the bugs. He's friend, not foe, right? But mosquitoes serve no purpose. All they do is spread disease and annoy the fuck out of everyone. So I think they deserve what's coming to them. So this little tennis racket, maybe we'll put a little link up, but this thing brings joy. All it does is bring joy. I pull this thing out, my mom starts laughing, and guess what? It serves a purpose. I'm killing things, right? I'm getting rid of pests. And also, when I'm having a bad day, when I can't get somebody to respond to an email for a sales call, and it's the 7th time they've opened the email but still haven't said even no, right? There's no courtesy of a no. Leave me alone. I just go outside.
See, that just sounds like a maybe to me. I want to let it worry me. That's a maybe. You start coming back.
Yeah, but you want anyway. If there's ever a moment where you feel like you need, some stress relief, there's no feeling so satiating as finally getting that fucking fly that's been, So anyway,
that's your
little
number 2 gift.
electric tennis racket. That's fantastic. Is it a fader knife? No. Does it bring joy? Yes. Okay.
Oh, you know what I was thinking, like on the knife set for cooks, right? Because
Yes.
they have their set, but if they want a special one for home use, that's a different story. Of course, you can get the big beautiful set. But like steak knives, I think are a good one that are kind of not often thought about, right? Like a nice set of steak knives to have for dinner parties and stuff. That'd be a really great gift.
Now let me ask you, Tony. Are you a fan of the serrated steak knife? Or are you a fan of the flat edge?
I like the flat edge. They're harder
You
to
do?
maintain. That's why you see more serrated knives in restaurants, because you have to sharpen them less often. But
Right.
they can tend to tear the meat a little bit. So a nice, very,
Understood.
like a sharp steak knife is definitely optimum.
Got it. I love that. For the steak eater in your life. Okay. I
I would
I
like,
was
those kind of gift sets and stuff like that. I don't necessarily have one, but like a steak delivery or something like that, I think it'd be a good gift. I like Gold Belly a lot. They have like a lot of great
okay.
restaurants with stuff on there for the cook in your life, for the someone who enjoys cooking.
Cool.
Like
Or
we
for the
moved out of New York
traveler,
City a
right?
few years ago, for sure. Like, we used to always like to go to Namwa Dumpling House in Manhattan.
Mm-hmm.
It was by the
Yep.
house, and you can get that stuff frozen, delivered, keep it in the freezer. It's a good little thing to pop up and cook when you don't know what else to do for
Honestly,
dinner. Just have a little
I
steaming
think it's
set.
I think it's a
Love
really
that.
good idea. I've always been it's funny, now in our inflationary times, I am much less price sensitive because everything just feels like credit card roulette anymore, right? Because everything's so damn expensive. I got coffee today. It's $9 now for a cold brew. Now it's the best cold brew on the planet, so I'll continue
That's
to pay
crazy.
for it.
Come on, not $9. Well, there's nothing else going on there.
Bro, this is the best. This is the best coffee cold brew available in Sarasota from Perk. It's expensive. It's expensive. It's essentially like a Jack on the Rocks, right? But
Yeah.
this brings more pleasure than Jack on the Rocks for me, and it also
So
allows me
gift of
to.
coffee is great. We're doing a lot of
Mm-hmm.
coffee visits and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
coffee delivery, I think, would be a fantastic thing, especially some of these farms we're going to in Colombia. We're getting a lot of insights and
Yes.
learning about all the different crazy ways that they're making coffee down there is pretty fun.
You know what? I think the first thing you need in your toolkit, once you have somebody in your life who wants to explore and get a little bit more serious about coffee, is a grinder. It's a great gift. I have
A
one
great one.
called a
That is a good one.
Barezza, or
Yeah.
Barezza, I think it's called. I could certainly pull it out, but nobody watches this show, so I'm going to be wasting my time.
I have a fellow coffee grinder that served me well for many years.
It's called a Fellow.
Fellow, yeah, that's the brand. I started looking at them because they have a French press that's insulated, which I love because
Ooh,
I love French press
that's a great
coffee,
idea.
but they're always
I do
in these
too.
glass things that it gets cold by the second cup, right? So they have an
Absolutely.
insulated French press. I'm not sure why they're more widely available now, but I've had this Fellow one for a few years. And when I have company over, I just got an extra insulated French press so I can make plenty of coffee. But the grinder is fantastic. And yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So you got two. So you got an insulated French press, which I've never heard of, and I think is a fantastic gift. I'm also a big fan of French press, and I feel like you're absolutely right. Like you lose temperature on that thing very, very quickly. So that's a
A
great
tip on
gift.
that. I have not tried this yet, but on one of our coffee excursions, they said put the coffee in, do the whole timing and stuff of the French press, the hot water. I have a little kettle too, which is really nice. Gets it to a very
Yes, that
specific
that that
temperature.
wand is fantastic. I agree.
Yeah. Wand?
There's like these water kettles that are essentially like wands that allow you to be very calculated or accurate
Yeah, got for pour over
in
coffee, right?
yes, for pour over coffee
So I got a
system.
little
Correct.
pour over coffee set too, which I'll use in the afternoon when I just want one cup sometimes.
Ah,
Or
right.
like that's
The
what I
old
use the
one
geisha.
cupper. Right.
That's what I use the geisha cup. When in the morning you need like 3 cups of coffee, but in the afternoon you just want a nice little pop. And that's when I
Yeah.
usually do the geisha coffee again, which is I should have thought about this before, but geisha coffee
Oof.
is a
Specialty
fantastic
coffees.
gift. Specialty coffee. It's wildly expensive in the States.
Yes,
Um,
it is. A
we
lot less
were
expensive if you listen to OverSeasoned, become our friend, and start to follow what we're doing because we'll be able to get you some.
Ooh, are we? So in the afternoon, I'll have a cup of pour over geisha coffee a lot of times. It's got a lot of nuance
Okay.
there. It's not as full bodied, obviously. But for the coffee
It's a
aficionado, it's quite something to experience.
so we talked about kettles, we talked about insulated French press machines, we talked about grinders. Now, one of the things that's really
Toasters.
interesting,
Don't forget my toaster, man.
oh, the toaster, a fader knife of any style. I mean, look,
Gold belly
even the way
delivery.
it's wrapped is worth it, in my opinion. The way that the fader wraps his gifts even makes it feel special. But then So one of the things that you'll get into as you start to learn more about coffee is the importance of the grind, right? And the importance of fresh beans and a fresh grind on those beans. And then the nuance that is the grind. When you have, and I'll just do a quick one and then we'll leave this. But for example, if you're doing a drip coffee, you may want like a normal drip coffee out of your machine, right? Like the standard drip coffee. You want a little bit finer of a grind on there so that when the hot water goes into the coffee, it actually sits in the grind and passes through. And you get nice extraction and flavor and all that stuff. But on the other hand, if you're doing a French press, you don't want too thin of a grind, because then when you try to push the actual grinds down into the French press, it gets too compacted and it's actually goes against the water flow because it's really fine ground.
Yeah, and it can kind of get through. One of the coffee nerds on one of our trips down to Colombia said to, and I have not tried this yet, I keep meaning to, but in the morning you just want a strong cup of coffee. It's hard to like look for the nuance at 6:30 in the morning, but it's nice that it's there just to preset, right? Oh, one thing on the grind, I like the Fellow coffee machine because the top where you put the coffee in, it has a little guide there on the dial, so it tells you where to put for drip and French press and
that's cool.
pour over and
so
stuff like that.
It's got a clear kind of like whatever, like
Yeah,
a grind guide.
Yeah, it's like a little grind guide, exactly. But he had told me when making French press to put the coffee in, put the water in, stir it up, but don't press it down to get like a nice even coffee throughout. I haven't tried that yet. I don't know if I have the palate to.
Down.
No, don't press it down so you don't get that compacted kind of. So the coffee is the same the whole way through, I guess would be the thing for that.
Yeah, that's I'd like to try that. It feels like you're taking away the most exciting part besides drinking of it, because when you press that thing down, it's like a sense of accomplishment. Again, it's like
you're like squeezing out that last little bit of orange juice from the thing, right? So I haven't done it yet, but maybe I will tomorrow. I'll report back.
I love that. All right, cool. Another great gift. I've got some other. So you brought an interesting one up, Tony, which was the for wine people, some cool gifts. So I'd love to touch on a couple wine gifts. So I think number one on my list for a wine lover would be, it sounds like this bird is like here with us, by the way. Hey, bird. So too bad they don't make rackets for birds. Just kidding. I love birds. So glassware. I freaking love glassware as a wine nerd. And I especially love having access to different types of glassware. Now, classically, you would want some sort of Austrian glass. Right, there we go. Some sort of Austrian glass. So these are hand blown, and in many times, you can have all different kinds of glasses. So they could be lead glasses, which means that it's like the old school way. You've got glasses that are completely hand blown.
That would scare people, like the whole lead thing. But that's a normal thing.
So I think the old school glasses definitely have lead in them, and I don't know if they're unsafe or not. I don't know, but I will say that we'll have to look this up. It's something interesting that you bring, because I don't know. I don't know if lead.
It would explain a lot.
It would. It totally would. But so there's two
leaded glasses and asbestos, filters or something.
Yeah. Listen, I think if you're not living James Dean style, then or Evel Knievel style, is it a life worth living? So, especially when you're drinking a nice bottle of Burgundy, like there should be a little bit of danger. But so I feel like, so Riedels Riedels, I think that's how they say them when they're like, I think, and that might be a German company. It's either German or Austrian. It's
Same
in that
thing.
little pocket of the world, right? It's either Amadeus or Bach, but it's one of them. So,
One schnitzel, the other sausage.
right, right. Yes, exactly. So Riedels are a great gift. There's all kinds of levels and styles. There's Venom, there's extremes, but any wine lover is going to love to have a variety of glasses. Now, I prefer bigger glass bulbs like Burgundy glasses or Cabernet
Now you're
glasses,
always,
Bordeaux glasses.
but one thing was use champagne. Like you fancy champagne,
Yes.
people never use a flute. You always use a wider mouth glass. Is there like what in that, or do they make a champagne glass that has a wider mouth on it?
They certainly make champagne glasses now that have more of like a bulb so that you can swirl the glass around. And, a flute, look, I think a lot of people enjoy flutes. It's a sign of celebration.
Right.
It's, you know what I mean? Like it's beautiful looking. You can see the bubbles come up the glass. It's not how I prefer to drink a glass of champagne, but, to each their own. And again, like,
But if you want to look like you know what you're doing, get the bigger champagne glass.
or just use a white wine glass, like a nice Chardonnay glass, something with a bulb on it, right? Something that has a little bit more action, right? Like more aeration ability and more of an ability to release aromas, right? The champagne flute is just straight and kind of compact, and it doesn't allow for the concentration, I think, of aromas. So that's why I'm not a big fan of it, and I can't swirl in a flute. You can swirl, but it's going to end up in a mess.
It was designed like that to preserve the perlage, right?
I think so, yeah. And it's a way to it's a visual experience less than I think an olfactory one, in my opinion.
It's funny
Right.
because the old school champagne glasses, the ones that Napoleon designed or something like that,
Yeah.
had a wider. You couldn't swirl them, but they had a wider.
Yeah, it's
They look
actually
almost
that's
like a margarita glass.
yeah, and yeah, it's like those little coupes. Those glasses also have become like the darling of the cocktail world. So that you can become Manhattan in those or martinis. They're beautiful glasses. I actually like those a lot. They're very elegant and dainty, and those are nice. Those are nice. Now, I'd rather drink champagne out of that, I think, than I would a flute, honestly. But
Makes
if I had
sense.
my choice, it'd be a nice stem with a bulb on it. And so aside from Riedel, which is the classic, which you can buy at Target, which I don't want to say tarnishes the brand, but is, it's a definitely an accessible, high quality glass. But now there's also so you got other producers, other glass makers that I think are really cool that wine people really appreciate. One is a Zalto, right? A Zalto. I think it's another Austrian glass blower. They do these beautiful glasses. And look, if you want to impress the wine lover in your life, any Zalto is a fantastic glass. Now, they're expensive, so you better love this person. And or if you have expensive taste and you want to show off, it's you don't necessarily have to love this person, but it's an investment, right? They're a high quality glass. They're Burgundy glasses. They're all-purpose glasses. They're all fantastic. There's another company called Josephine that does another great glass. And there's a little bit of drama I heard between Zalto and Josephine, but Josephine is competing against Zalto. And Zalto has become like the standard in glassware amongst wine people. Like they've surpassed, I think, the quality of Riedel, and they're now.
It's how is that possible? Like Riedel was like the thing to have if you were a serious restaurant, 10
Yes.
years ago. And
Yes.
how much, this isn't for you to necessarily answer, but like how much more shape, design could go into making a wine glass, unless it's indestructible or something.
Well, it's an interesting point. Here's what it is. There's a lot of factors that go into making a wine glass. One of them is, is the bulb machine blown? Is it hand blown?
Sure.
Is it, is the stem machine made? Is the stem handmade?
Is
there's
that
all
just an
kinds of.
aesthetic, you think, or does that provide like a
No, it,
stronger
it it
glass?
certainly does. Yes, it provides a stronger glass in some cases. It provides less vibration when you're actually like putting the glasses on the table. It provides a sturdier experience. It looks more beautiful. You can tell a machine made like bulb to glass connection because there's actually like a little bubble that
Mhm.
forms. Like instead of it looking like one, there's a lot of glasses you buy where it's one piece of glass all the way through, kind of like a full tang
Sure.
on a knife, right? So I think there's all kinds of
That's a great
details and
little tip.
intricacies.
So you can see where the stem matches the bowl of the, what do you call
Yeah,
it? The
that's
glass?
correct. That's correct.
Because there's a little bubble in there if it is a handmade, hand blown.
Right. Right.
Cool.
All right. So do you have any other gifts that you can think of off the top of your head that are great ones?
Well, one thing that I'm waiting for personally, which of course would be a good gift, but you'd have to have the right space for it and stuff, is a Grozny, I believe I'm pronouncing that correctly, pizza oven. I have,
What?
yeah. I think it's English brand. I could be butchering that, but Grozny pizza oven. I'm looking forward to getting one of those
That is for
when the
someone you
season is
love,
done and
right?
done. Yeah, I think they're about 2 grand.
Yeah, just about 2 grand.
So that's kind of what that's that's what I like to dabble in now that I don't work in a restaurant anymore, and like I'll have every kind of pizza cooking, outdoor cooking with fire kind of thing that I possibly can. I got the
Get your
badass
hands on,
grill,
right?
the Kalamazoo. I got the Uni pizza oven that's really fantastic
Uni.
for doing. Yeah, it's like a nice small guy. It's still wood fired or charcoal, so I'll fill with charcoal.
Oh,
You can
nice.
make like one pizza at a time, but it fires up in like 30 minutes. And it's a great
Nice.
thing if you just want to like make a pizza for dinner or two or three, whatever you have
Sure.
the need for. You can do so without it being this long, big process of starting the fire 3 hours before.
What other like how about a fire starter or like those cylinders where you can start your coals in? Like what other kind of like cooking outdoor little things
Let's
that
think
you
of, have
don't
to think
always
about that.
think of?
I just use those little fire starter. They're like it's like compact sawdust with wax or something like that. You light and put in
Oh,
there, and
interesting.
you're good to go. Yeah,
Got it. Okay, cool.
you just get them at Home Depot. They're like right in the Weber section.
Okay, got it. Cool. That's a cool little one. See, that's a great stocking stuffer. Speaking of, I think this is a great gift, especially for the traveler in your life. These universal uh these are universal outlets that allow you to, pop in um any number of when you travel you have all different kinds of
Do you use
electrical
that very often? Because I feel
outlets.
like I stopped trying to bring one of those along, and I just ask the
You
hotels
just buy them
whatever I
when you're
need.
there. Okay.
Right.
So
They're the
this
things you always
company,
buy and then you forget at home.
there's a company that does these that are like these beautiful universal adapters that are like they're $10, but you can use them in Argentina had different outlets than Egypt, than Europe, then you go to Japan, they got some fucking weird thing, and everybody likes to complicate things. And so, but long story short, I think having one of these universal adapters is a great stocking stuffer, and it's a fantastic gift. And if it's not for the traveler in your life, then maybe it's a nudge, like hint, hint, it's time to get out of New Jersey, kind of thing. Another great gift. Look at this cute little guy.
Olive oil?
Beautiful site-specific olive oil. Yep. This is a
Ooh, that looks
tin that is
fantastic.
250 mils. It
Where'd it
is
come from?
Arbequina.
Tuscan?
This is Spanish. This is from Spain.
Of course. I
It's
had a question
from.
on that. I did have a note. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, no worries. I was just to say it's from Hacienda Tucán, right? And I think this is from Jaén. This olive oil, but this is a fantastic little gift. I mean, this is one of the things. See, I like these smaller olive oil cans and bottles anymore these days. They say that within about a month of opening your bottle of olive oil, that it'll start to oxidize and start going rancid and lose flavor. Now, great olive oils will last for a long time, but I like these
Sometimes I keep it in
smaller
the fridge.
ones.
If I know I'm going to leave for a week or something and I have one open, I'll pop it in the fridge. I don't know if
Oh,
that
you
helps
will.
or hurts or whatever, but
Hey,
because I have a lot of collections of olive oils. One thing I've been wanting to ask you,
yeah,
however, is I'm seeing a lot of you're my go-to tinned fish guy for whatever reason. I'm
yeah.
seeing a lot
I,
of like really beautiful designed tins of
I've noticed this
sardines and
too.
anchovy, like they're all over the place. I don't know
Yes,
who's buying them, but they look like fantastic things to like show on the shelf. I get a
I
lot of
listen.
different tunas and stuff, of course, but I'm not sure how many of the other stuff is selling to the non-foodie crowd, but I
Yeah,
think they're pretty cool.
tin fish is going through a moment, and I think it's fantastic because it's one of those gifts that once you decide it's time to pop that. I mean, you
You
have
wouldn't necessarily get for yourself, right? But you got a nice cheese platter or some apps or something going on, you could do some
would
tinned
you?
octopus. Sure.
Would you get it for yourself, or would you not? Because this was
Oh, that's one of your
definitely
things.
on my Christmas list. So this is Nardin, which is a Basque Spanish company, and here they have what is a very interesting, and I've never seen in the United States. These are smoked anchovies.
Hmm.
So these smoked anchovies, every time I'm in Spain, I buy them because you really don't see them outside the Spain market.
How do you eat those?
Oh, dude. So, if you're going classique, my favorite way is just you pull these out of the can, you just drape them out, hit them with a little olive oil, a little fresh. Well, that's it, olive oil because they're already salted, and
Sure.
just some thin, crusty bread. That's way number one. And then every single thing that you could potentially do to this is an iteration to that. They're
Sure.
smoked but they're delicately smoked. So you get that a little bit of, I mean, of course, tons of umami, really nice and savory anchovy flavor. But the smoke plays so well with these anchovies. They're not white anchovies, they're normal, like dark anchovies.
Hmm.
But it plays so well with this anchovy because classically anchovies are pretty intense in flavor, right? So I love this just with some good olive oil. Now, if you want to learn to enjoy anchovies, this is a little trick that they do in Spain, in the Basque Country at least, is if you're not quite there yet, anchovies have a strong flavor. They can be intense for some. When trying to learn to appreciate them, going a la Donostiarra, which is Donosti is the name for San Sebastian, is something you can do, which is really finely chopped garlic, really finely chopped onion, and really finely chopped parsley. And you can literally put that kind of like a garnish right over top of the anchovy.
Raw garlic.
Raw garlic, raw parsley, raw onion, right?
Nice.
And put that right over top. And those are strong flavors too, right? So it helps to balance out the intensity of the anchovy. And you take your anchovy, you take some of the garnished olive oil, of course. You still do an olive oil, and you put that on a piece of bread. It's fantastic. If you're going Frenchy style, little butter, little bit of radish, and then the sardine is also a very great classic pairing. So there's a lot of ways to enjoy this. Since they're special and smoked, I'm sure they'd be great in a puttanesca or some sort of dish that requires
Man,
anchovy.
I haven't had puttanesca in a long time.
Yeah.
Or a tarte pissaladière, which is like caramelized onions, and
Oh, is that the one with the fish coming out the top?
could be
Yeah. Okay. So that's a great one. I've got another one.
olives.
Here's another great gift. So special peppers, right?
I still have those that you brought for me. I'm still waiting for the opportunity.
Dude, so these are perfect for a couple different. So
Is
what
there
I
a
just
place in the
showed was
States where you can get those?
yes. So listen, very important, right? So there are these are called guindia peppers, right? Now guindia just means pepper, right? But these are called piparrac y barraco, right? These are actually anytime you go to the Basque Country and they have a specifically like from the place, like a protected specialty origin ingredient or bottling or can, they'll have this thing on it says the USCO label, right? You see this? It's like it's kind of like oh, look at that. It's called USCO label, right? And it even has like a date on it and all that stuff when it was bottled or canned. So these are from a town called Ibarra. And these are what they say are the best guindia peppers available. See how long they are?
Yeah.
And how even they are?
They're not
So-
spicy, right?
They're like a banana pepper, but a banana pepper with class. You know what I mean? A banana pepper with a pinky up. And they have great texture. They have that like nice, bright, vinegary bite to them. They're not super spicy. I'd say they're a 2 out of 10 or a 3 out of 10. But these are this town, Ibarra, which is very close to Loyola. This town is so famous for their peppers that these are called langostinos peppers, right? They're like the the seafood of peppers. It's funny, right? I'm sure they call them langostinos because they're long and lean and
Sure.
and right. But it's just funny. They're essentially the lobster of pepper, according to the Basques. I think that's pretty funny. But anytime you're traveling and you see something that's like place specific, I think that's a great gift. That's a great gift. Here's my last one. I got 2 more, Tony, actually. Here's another great one. I'm going to save this for our Soldera night. So you see,
Porcinis?
these are porcinis. Yes. These are wild porcinis. They're the only way you can get them. Boletus edulis silvestres. How cool is that? And these are wild.
I keep coming across some porcinis that I haven't hit the season right up in the Catskills to collect them because I keep hitting the.
There's
keep getting there when
porcinis
they're
in
a
the
little bit.
Catskills?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah.
So these are these wild porcinis that are packed in olive oil. And dude, I just imagine when we do our Soldera night to celebrate life, we sear these off, get a little color on them, a little caramelization, a little foie, little beautiful old sherry vinegar, or the Basques also are big fans of real light temp up, right? Like just get them just barely warm, and then just great farmhouse eggs mixed in.
That sounds great.
That on
That
like a
sounds
nice
good.
piece of crusty bread with a glass of Soldera. At that point, you have no reason to continue, right? Life is
Exactly.
at its best in that moment. And one more. I think this is a great little gift.
Your steak sauce.
So, but this is a weird steak sauce. It's not just steak sauce.
Have you
right?
tried it yet since yesterday?
No, I haven't. So, you know what though? I'm gonna treat myself to a nice steak this weekend, and I'll try. I'll do a report. I'll do a little blind tasting, and I'll do it with my A1 patina.
That sounds perfect.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I think there's a lot of look. Anywhere you go, there's a way I think to please the lover of food in your life, the lover of travel, the lover of the good things, which is food and wine and music, and a good person to enjoy it with. I mean, what else do you want?
A racket to kill mosquitoes with.
That's exactly what I was going to say. No mosquitoes. That's also what you want in life is no mosquitoes, right? No mosquitoes, great music, great friends, great food, great wine. Things are
And a
good.
little bit of overseasoned. Thank you very much,
And a
everybody.
little
Hope
bit
you have
of
a great
overseasoned.
holiday season. Talk to you soon.
Thanks for joining us. Listen to us on Spotify. Where else? We have a great show on YouTube called OverSeasoned TV. We have that we're releasing stuff all the time. Every Monday, come join us, and you'll learn little tidbits like the best way to peel your lemons.
The best way to end a show.
OverSeasoned podcast was brought to you by Over Easy Office, outsourced bookkeeping solution.